There's no help in that.
Oh, never. You're never
My quote
productive.
is, the only way out is through.
Yeah.
That's it.
Keep going.
Do you guys know that country song is the only way? I can't remember exactly what it is, but it talks about the only way out when you're going through hell is to go through straight through.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
it's going to be
If
my
you're going
new
through hell,
song.
keep on moving.
Yes, when you're going through hell, keep on moving. Uh-huh.
Lisa, I will add that to our song repertoire for
You,
meetings.
you need to.
Everything is awesome. When you're part of a team. That's my
Okay.
favorite one right now.
And it actually makes me laugh every time you do it.
Although I still do love Y'all Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind up in here, because that one's still pretty valid too. But I'm gonna go look up the lyrics and hear the tune so that I can not carry it because I can't really
You'll
sing.
be singing that and dancing around the house.
I'm gonna go find it right now.
All right, let's see. What time is it? It's 12:59. We'll give it a couple more minutes. I'll bring up the template while we're waiting. I have it up. Let me go. Oh, well, I did have it up. Clearly, I closed it because I reloaded it. Let me go get it. Keisha.
Yes.
Do you want me to record this, or do you want to do this do you want to record on another time? Because I think we'll do this will be a little bit different than what we would do for new folks, so probably we don't need to record it. What do you think?
Yeah, I would opt no.
Okay. This is our trial run.
Yeah.
You guys are the
This is our pilot.
We have not planned for this.
By the way, when I typed in when you're going through hell, all I got to is when you're, and the number one search for when you're is when your pizza rolls are done. I don't have any idea why people would Google that. I am going to click it and see what
Some of
possibly
those
comes
first
for
things
when
that come
pizza
up.
rolls are done. Oh, it's a video on Vine. That's why.
Okay,
Well,
so I saw Christy, and I see Emily. Okay.
You guys know how much I love to be part of pilots, don't you?
Yes, and I'm sure that we'll have more.
Poor Christy.
There'll just be more and more and more. Just think how good you'll be, Christy, when you get done with this project.
Oh, Christy, that made me chuckle.
All right, now I can share. Okay, let me make this as big as possible so people can see it, but I'm going to keep it in non-present mode because I need to be able to manipulate it if needed. Oh, now it's just stuck. Okay, how big does that look to you guys? Does that look sufficient, or is it still small?
I think it looks nice.
Looks good to me.
All right.
Yeah, it works.
Okie dokie. All right, do we have anybody else? Oh, here comes Melissa Curtis Henley.
Hello there.
Hello. Okay. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. And hopefully, if you are all very lucky and very good, we will not need to take the whole hour. Just putting it out there. All right. So a little bit of background. There was lots of you who were on the phone today that saw a template very early on that Jennifer Dow put together and submitted, and it was awesome and beautiful, and it was all about the voyage, and we were getting on a boat, and it all got approved through branding and everything else, and so off we went until our ER partners showed it to marketing, and marketing is helping them put together their messaging for communications, and marketing hated it. Said, it looks like we're telling them they're going to drown. So
I'm going to go on mute because I'm giggling too much.
no, I think it's good. So we went in and we went back and we Bank of America-fied it in their more traditional type format. And so the pages that you're going to be using are the same. The graphics on the pages are different. That's the difference in here. So it wasn't a huge change because Keisha had done a really great job the first time around in making sure that we had everything perfect for branding. So I want to run through this today. I'm going to go through the template. I'm going to have Keisha talk a little bit about the colors we're going to be using. And Keisha, I put it on the last page of this template so they would have it to refer to. So we'll do that. And then I want to talk a little bit about cropping graphics, and not screen graphics, but these graphics that are sitting in these modules. We've already used this template for some WBTs, and I saw some things that can happen, and I just want you guys to watch out for it because we do not have a graphics person that, are you guys still on?
You blipped for a minute, but we
You
hear
know
you
what?
again.
It is, sorry. I think
Yeah.
I just ended my meeting. I ended the meeting I didn't get out of from last time. Anyway, so we don't have a graphics person that's, making it beautiful and putting it into a WBT. So we just have to be careful ourselves and make sure that it's laying right on the page. And then Keisha and Tambra are going to talk about best practices. So let's do it right the first time. So when it gets to QA, it's not a backload on the back end. So that was one of our things. And then I also I think it may be a while since you guys have done one of these. And so I think it's just a good reminder to everybody as we get started. Anything else that anyone would like to cover on this meeting? Alrighty, let's step through the template. All right, so this is our front page with little fingers typing. Not as fun as the, little anchor we had and all that. Second page, we do still have a title page for the module title. So we've just changed out the graphic here to the little houses. When marketing came back and the ER communications team came back to me, they wanted more about houses, like more about it being about mortgage. And so that's where the houses and stuff are coming from, trying to give it that flavor that we're dealing with a mortgage environment. So just FYI. All right.
This is Sharon.
Yes.
I think it looks nice. I'm just curious, are you going to also be going down on the notes section and talking about that? And whether
no,
we
because that
Yep, that shouldn't be there.
That shouldn't be there. But I think, are you talking about what should be put in the notes section?
No, actually, and having, had some real experience with this in the past, where we had to have the Bank of America proprietary thing on all the notes section pages too. And, it had to be aligned just like they wanted it and all that
This is
stuff.
an iPPT, so the notes won't be used at all. Any notes that were here were notes to you as the writer,
Okay.
but all those notes are probably wrong.
I'm going to take them out as we go.
Yeah, do. Because they have our port and our beautiful nautical theme.
Sharon, we'll send you the other one since you missed that piece, or I think you missed that piece. Did you see the other one?
Oh, no, but I bet it looks beautiful too.
Yeah,
I'll send it looks clean.
Yeah, this one's very clean looking, and it's a little clean for my taste, but again, this isn't about me. So, all right, so then we get to our overview page. This is very clean. It has the Bank of America flag behind it. So on the front page, of course, you'll be putting your content around what they're going to be learning in this particular module. And if we all follow the rules in the DDD, for DDD development, your word, and a little cleanup, but you basically have this already there sitting in the DDD because we required that to be there. And then over here is, of course, your IPP agenda that will only show up on this page. So we're not going to take the space up on every page, thank the good Lord. So this will be here and they can come back to it. There's always going to be a way for them to come back to this if they want to skip around. Questions? Okay. Now, some of you who have written DDDs that have overviews for a series, so it's not a single module, it's a series of modules, and usually what that means is that when you open the DDD, it will have more than one module in it, and it will have the module names, but some of those are series where they go together. They need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we did for that, I'm going to scroll down. So before you get to this overview page, you would actually have an extra page in the first module of the series to review the series in general. So just to give them an understanding of what are they going to do in the series before we go down to a modular level. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to find it. Well, it's way up here. Oh, here. Oh. And I don't know about anybody else, but WebEx just kills me.
Jacks with your world.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't have time for this. Okay.
Do.
Oh, I'm going to get there.
I saw it.
I know, I did too. I think
I think
it's
it's
right
the first
here.
one in the appendix.
Here it is. This is your series title welcome page. So it is a welcome to the overall series. And then once you have put this in place, because you can see it's listing the series components at the higher level. And then you'll do, you'll add that in, and then you'll come to your overview page. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, so we have several different types of content and screen pages to choose from depending on what you have. We have one that is just basically plain page that's going to need to be used when you are showing big screens. You need the real estate to put in here. So you as the ID, of course, will be able to choose what you're going to use out of the example pages that you have available to you. What I would tell you is if you get in there and you go, gosh, I really wish I had this page, I want you to roll that back up to Keisha and I and Amy and say, hey, I have an idea. We will take a look at it and then we will make a decision at a higher level. So we may not have thought of everything. We're brilliant, but sometimes not that brilliant. But I just want to leave that open because I think when we start working and putting the actual content together, we may find some other things. I mean, Keisha, don't you think?
Oh, totally agree.
Okay.
The whole reason we made this template is to give you options and to make Tambra not want to jump off a bridge as she's QAing them all. So we just tried to keep it very simple and clean, something you could, and plus, who doesn't love to work in a little template that you just plop in the information and go? But yeah, we can't have thought of everything, so there's got to be things that we've missed.
Right.
No.
Right. Okay. And from what I understand, and Keisha and Tambra, keep me honest here, these buttons here are already all set up. They're already active. They don't need to be programmed. Okay. Yeah. So back and next buttons and return to table of contents, Tambra has already programmed all those. Do not mess them up.
Teresa, they won't be viewing this in slideshow, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They will.
So the next should
They
just go
will
to
be-
next page. The back should go to back page, and the table of contents, she's got it programmed to the right page. So as you just copy paste this page, Tambra, right, it should work if they just reuse this one over and over.
Correct. Yeah, the only change that will need to be to a back button is to skip over a knowledge check answer.
Okay.
But other than that, the programming should already be.
But I think we
Very
have that
simple
laid out
syntax.
too, as long as they do the knowledge checks exactly as we have them. That's all programmed too, right?
Yeah, but it depends on the page they put after the knowledge check.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
So let me ask my question again, because I don't think I heard the answer. Are they going to be viewing this in slideshow mode?
Yes.
Okay. So won't it actually, anytime they click anywhere on the screen, then jump to the next screen?
The final will actually be a PDF.
Ah,
So only hotspots will work.
okay. I get it. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sure.
They can't take shortcuts, although they'll try to.
Also, you got a telescope reference there.
Ah,
Oh, thank you.
thank you.
Where is it? Where did it go? Where is it?
Yeah, I don't see it.
In the text?
I see click to add notes.
Up on the actual screen.
Oh shoot. Okay, wait.
The very first sentence.
Doggone that nautical theme that went away.
We tried.
We did.
Okay. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, you guys just read the whole thing while we're talking about it.
This is great.
All right, so here's another content page. It's a step action. I think you could probably use this in a couple of different ways. You could do steps, you could do different topical pieces that go together. I think there's some creative ways you could do this, but it's set up and ready to go with all the hot spots in it. Then we have one that has some imagery, because we didn't want everything to be plain white, because that drives me crazy. I don't know about anybody else, but my life is not white, plain white. So anyway, we wanted to add some flair in here. So what we did is add some of these screens where maybe we're doing some steps or something that needs less real estate that we can fit into here and break up our white pages. So there's actually 4 different options for this, and I'm going to scroll back down the page and show you what they are.
And it's also where the actual build out is too.
Yes, I will show you that as well. Here we go. No, not yet. Okay, so here's the actual pages that have been built out with the links in them. So there's of course the starting point, and then there's the point where you click step 1 and it's grays out, and then you continue down to step 2 and it grays. So all of these are set up already for you, so you don't have to do the hotspots. Okay, here's another option. It is a house. Isn't that cute? Again, just changed out the graphics. We did not build all of these out, so you'll just need to change out your graphic in these. Same with this one. This is another little choice. Come on, boo-boo. There you go. And then the final one is this. Does it seem homey? Do you
I
feel,
love it, you
do you
guys.
feel mortgage?
I mean, I know it's not all aboard, which I thought was awesome. So people are projecting, but I think this is still brilliant. It looks great. You've made it so easy. Like really, it's
Well,
great.
you guys are going to test it and see exactly how easy it is and provide us feedback, but the feedback has to be nice and constructive. So that's the only thing I'm going to request.
Kenneth Cole reaction.
All right, so then we have another content page that has sample hotspot builds out. And Keisha, it's not coming to mind how I might use this page. Can you give me an example?
Click each of the following for definitions of the following
Thank you.
terms. Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I was like, my mind went blank and I thought, oh gosh. So there's that one as well. So just to give you a couple of options and really to be able to go ahead and add in the hotspots for you to make it easier was the purpose. Because although they're not hard to add, they can be a booger bear to deal with. All right. So
Teresa,
then,
I have a question on this slide right here.
yes.
If for some reason we had content to put like an image, like maybe a process map or a diagram or something, can we add that to a slide like this?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah, that's the things that's going to bring flavor to it. And where we can visually, here's what I would say. Now, Keisha and Amy, you can agree or disagree. I say where we can visually depict something, particularly at a high level, I think we should to break up all the words.
100%. Yeah. And so another example for this page would be, the screen blah, and screen blah. And when they click it, the screen pops up on the screen. Not that they may need that because since they have their workstations, but absolutely, you can have graphics.
Good question, Nancy. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then, as you all know.
Wait, I have a follow-up question.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. There's only
It just
one
occurred to
question
me.
per page.
You'll have to put it on my bill.
Your bill's going up, sister.
Do we have any liberty to just add in graphics because we think it makes sense, like, I don't know, a bunch of hands together for teamwork or something like that, or do we just only would be using them for strictly content related visualizations? You know what I'm asking?
Yes, I do know what you're asking.
Okay.
From what I've seen, so here's what I'm going to tell you. From what I've seen in the WBTs, most of them don't call for that. Most of it's a lot of screens and so forth, and there is a graphic of the workstation, and I could see graphics of the processes, like high level, like visual map kind of things. I can see those. I think if we're just putting a picture on a page to put a picture on a page, then I would want to kind of understand that better at a level where you're working.
Yeah, okay. It needs to really make
I'm
sense.
not saying no. I'm not
Yeah.
saying no. I'm just saying, hey, let's show me what would really add value.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because they're so fussy about clean right now. I mean, that's their thing is about very clean and lots of white space. All right. Anybody else? All right. So in most of our DDDs, we have demonstrations where we are walking them through a process. So this is the beginning of the demonstration itself. So you can set it up here. You can put a screen print in here if you want to. You don't have to. It could be just a setup of what they're going to do. And then you actually have some pages after that that you're going to be using to walk through the actual demo. So you've got the content up here. You've got a full-size screen print here. You've got a little arrow if you want to use an arrow to point out something. So you've got some things there. And if you want call-out text, you can put those in the gray boxes as well. So a lot of times we're calling out information on a field. What does it mean? So what we want to make sure to use is just stay in this format, gray background against the screen. There's also, you can also use this little lovely thing. This is yellow. This indicates that there is a click that they need to do besides clicking the back or forward button. So when we're doing the demonstrations, and you guys all know this, so I'm going to speak to the choir here, is we want them interacting as much as they can like they would in the system. There are places, and I've seen a lot of them, in MSP where they're typing something in or they're, those kinds of things, which we can't really do, and we have to say, hey, when you click here, it's going to put it in for you. But again, I want you guys to think about these poor little people are spending hours looking at all of these iPPTs. So the more we can engage, don't be crazy, but the more we can engage in how they actually work, the better it's going to be for them. Questions on these two demo pages?
I was just going to add that their DDDs say whether there is a demo or not, and it'll guide you.
Yes.
Hey, yeah, I have a question. The screens in MSP, is there a standard that's put forth as far as color? Because I know they can change their colors.
Oh God, no, I hope not. I hadn't even thought about that. We're going to have this, I know, it's like it's one of those roaches that keeps crawling out of the woodwork. We're going to have SMEs for the most part pulling screens because they're the ones that know which loans have the right data that need to demonstrate what you're trying to do. So we are going to tell them they're going to be capturing screens. We're going to give them the capturing screens job aid to review and understand before they come to the call. One of the first things you guys are going to need to do on the first call, not on the very first call, but the first call where screens need to be gathered, is to make sure that they have read it and have set up their computer appropriately. So it's going to be important for you guys to be familiar with those as well.
Okay. I just,
as far as colors go, we're using a set of SMEs for each audience, right? So at the audience level, see what they have. Just check on them and say, hey, what color scheme are you guys using? Are you using the basics? And if they are not, let's have them change it back to the basics. Because there's a basic one they open it up with. Not open it up with, but that came to them originally. Thoughts or questions on that?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we want to provide them also, after they go through a demonstration, oh shoot, the procedure that goes with the demonstration. The reason that we talked about putting it before they go through, but the procedures could be much bigger. The procedure itself could be much bigger than just the step we're showing them, because we are only showing them the step that's changing. So we're giving them the procedures just to link it to them in their head when they get through the demonstration. And if they wish to go out and look at it as a whole, they're more than happy. They can go do that. If they don't, it's not required. Questions on
So
that?
on that procedure review, where you said we were only going to show what's changing or tell them what's changing. So up there underneath the header, would we describe that change?
On this page?
Mm-hmm.
No, this is just the over. I would put the procedure. I would put the procedure name. This is the, this is the, and we can probably come up with some words for you, but we want to put this name of the procedure in which what you just showed them is attached to. And Keisha,
Okay, got it.
we may want to come up with some words like, please note, what we just showed you may not be all of the procedure, just the components that are changing. Wonder if we should put that.
I think standard verbiage would be good.
Yes. Okay, let me write that down. Good question. Standard
And
verbiage.
are we going to have the path and the direct link information?
Well, you're going to have to. Well, that's a great question, Nancy. I'm not even sure that right now we have all the right titles.
Right. I mean, I don't have any of that. That's why I'm asking.
And the thing is that the direct path, they would have to give us now the old path. If they're updating, they'd have to give us the old path, right? Because that they're updating it, it's going back to the same place. If it's new or being totally replaced with a new, then they'd have to give us a new path. And those new paths actually are not going to be available until right before transition. So I'm wondering, I'm thinking in my head, so I'm thinking out loud, do we just put the name of the procedure here?
Procedure title and description and fill those last two things.
Yes.
Uh-huh. And in our standard verbiage, it can be navigate to your procedures and locate the following.
Or we can put a link to the procedure portal in there.
Yeah, procedure portal and locate the
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because my groups are saying too, they may even change the trees and all of that.
I
you
know. It's a mess.
scary.
It's a mess. Yeah, that's
Let's
why I
just send
think
them to the
that's a
homepage.
great change. This is my favorite change so far. I like the other changes too. This gets my
Okay.
bagel.
All right. Okay, cool. We'll work on that. All right.
Okay.
So then with that being said, there are some, of course, some DDDs that then have them take them into a try me, because typically if it's a more complex change, we don't do it on all of them, but we do it on some of them depending on the complexity of the change. So here are your try me. They're going to do it on their own. You're going to set them up and they're going to do it on their own, and you're going to give them prompts. Here's their initial prompt. That's the scenario kind of situation. But if they need help, then they would get help, such as this. So if they click help, sorry, let's keep things jumping. It says help, try again, and they have to click this. I don't think we need try again, actually. I think we just need this, Keisha, because they have to click it. Or does it pop when they click the wrong space? I don't think it's set up.
It pops when they click the wrong space. So it's like, hey, dude, try again. Click here. Duh.
Do we need help? I'm not trying to like overanalyze this, but just trying.
Yes, they will, because they'll click someplace and then they wonder why they got it.
They aren't moving forward.
they
Because they have
Okay.
to click the hot spot to move forward. And if they aren't
Yes.
moving forward, then they click help, and we say, hey, dude, try again. You're supposed to click XYZ.
Okay. All right. Groovy. So
Because
there's
Tamara, when they click help, the arrow also comes up, right? When they click help, the gray box and the arrow displays.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
so for every slide 13, we need a slide 14. In other words, from a design perspective, I have to have one screen with the content and then one screen with the content plus the help box.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, but it's not actually an extra page. It's a pop-up.
But it's an extra page. 'Cause
It's an extra slide, isn't it?
In a PowerPoint.
Okay, it's been a really long time
I
since
know.
I've actually had to create these. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's an extra page, but they're not a lot of these. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, overall there's a lot in general, but as far as the try-its, there aren't that many. But yeah,
Okay.
it's a page.
Okay. All right.
This is Sharon again.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and to make it interactive, and something doesn't really need a demo or a full-fledged try it. It's just a matter you have a screen up and you just say, okay,
Yep.
Click here to move forward. It's kind of just keeps them interactive versus just clicking next. Is that something we can still look at doing?
I would say yes, because these are iPPTs and not WBTs. You can't do that on a WBT anymore.
Oh, interesting.
It has to be layers on a WBT. You can't move it to another page. But Keisha and Amy, you guys probably have more experience because it's been a while since I've done any iPPTs. What's your say on that?
Please say yes.
Keisha?
Well, it's not. It'd be extra programming for you all because all the next buttons are created for you, and the DDDs call for lots of demos, so there's lots of opportunities for them to click this place on the screen, like on slide 11. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Christy. Why do you say please set? Why is this so concerning?
Well, it's just to Sharon's point. It just gives us one more item to make it interactive.
It's Amy. One thing I would say is if you're going to have them click someplace on a screen, you want to have them going to the logical next step on the next page. So you wouldn't want to have them click something on a screen and then go to a something random, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yes. Like
Right.
click an image to advance.
Yeah, or click this part on the screen and then you go to a page with text. So you want them clicking something that's going to go to the logical next thing.
And I totally agree, Amy. And the majority of the DDDs are set up very, very, very basic. They learn a little bit of information. They go into a demo where they are clicking on the screen to advance to the next. And then there may or may not be a try it and then a knowledge check. That's the basic route. And again, I go back to Teresa's initial comment. If there's something in here as you're building that you really want different, just bring it to our attention and we can assess it at the time. It's really hard to say it globally.
Yes, and I think if we only had 2, maybe 3 of you working on this, we could be a little bit more flexible because it would be easier to communicate. But I have no idea at the end of the day how many IDs we'll have working on this, but I'm going to say it's going to be plus 30 when we finally get to our max capacity. So we've got to simplify and make it consistent some way just to keep us moving.
Yeah, because our job, Amy, Teresa, and I, is to make it look like one writer wrote all of this. So that's...
And if it helps, I mean, like I have 1 or 2 DDDs where maybe there was like a process in it that we reviewed before we got into steps, like go to MSP and click here, here, here. There were some, and that's where the ones that Teresa and them built with the 1, 2, 3, like you could do that for those to show that process and maybe do some cool little icon to represent each one of those tasks so it still looks cool. But we're not breaking the flow. We're not breaking those already pre-programmed things. Just my 2 cents.
And I know, all of you can be super creative. I know that. And there's going to be times in this project where you go, darn, I wish I could do this. It would be so much better. And you're just having that personal crisis moment of doing the right thing. And I will ask you to please breathe and know that the reason we're doing this is for the greater good. Yes, you guys could do all sorts of things. I'm sure you guys could come up with some crazy stuff. Unfortunately, we don't have the time. We don't have the time. So forget budget. We don't have the time, people. So, all right. So here is a knowledge check question already set up. You can use words or images with these. You can, so that it's really nice. We kind of did a combination of those with the WBTs. And then the answer page is already set up for you, for your answer. So there's that. Then there's one like this for a screen print where you're having them click the correct area of the screen to indicate the response, which is kind of nice with system training. Where the heck is this? Find it. And then...
Now when they do that, will it take them automatically to the next page?
When they click it, yes. Right?
What if they click the wrong thing?
We have we make the whole page a hotspot, Tambra? Isn't the whole page a hotspot that just goes automatically goes to the next page?
Yeah, we can make the whole screenshot a hotspot.
Oh, and then they
because no matter what, it's either you got it wrong or you got it right. You should know where you clicked. And
You're right.
Well, but if they decide, they clicked it something by mistake and want to go back, can they then go back?
They're going to click the back button.
Okay, great. Thank you.
If there are other things, so there's two types of questions here. One's a multiple choice, one's a click. Again, if you find that there's something else you have got to have, let us know.
What about matching? Dragon things.
It's an iPPT PowerPoint.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks like a WBT.
I know, it's hard because it is so fun, but it is hard too. You're limited.
Okay, and then this is the module summary page.
It looks like you're going to heaven.
You are. We want them, at least they're not drowning on a boat. So, All right. Okay, so that is the template, and I think we had some really great discussion about that. I'm going to go down to the bottom of the template deck, and I'm going to, Keisha, let you talk a little bit about their colors.
Sure,
Love it.
absolutely.
Love it.
Yes. So if any of you have been down to the branding site and looked at the branding deck, there's about 10 pages about colors, and there's all these rules and all these complications, where in the end, what they really only want are these 3 colors. That's all they want. So that's what we're going to give them. And you'll see there they have, and the RGB color is there, and everything in here, Tambra has already gone through and made sure was the right colors, and so we're all good. Then for the ratio, so you think, oh man, I want to make this really pretty. If I make this big block of beautiful red that's the right red, it'll be great. No, because they only want 10% of bright red on a page. For enterprise, they want their white space. They love their white space. We need to give them their white space. And then the dark blue, and then the red. And then there's 2 grays, and you'll see all the gray boxes that we've used in here as overlays or to hold text are one of these 2 grays. And the gray is only used for background to hold text or components. One thing that they're also very big on that we didn't mention here is they do not like borders around anything. So you can't have a blue box with a red border or a white box with a blue border. They don't like borders. It just needs to be clean.
Or shadow, right? So no border,
shadow.
no shadow. Okay.
Yeah.
What about when it's a screenshot? We usually put the shadowed gray around the screen shot.
That's an excellent question, and I'm going to let Teresa talk about how we want to do screenshots universally.
Okay, that was very unfair.
And
I know, it's like, oh geez.
Well, I think we either need to are we going to give them a treatment, or are we going to leave them static?
I do think we need a light gray border, not enough to make it look like it's a border, but to allow it to look finished. That's the only thing is I hate it when a screen like the white space, it goes out into the white space, like we've had to crop it or something. So do you think we could do just a really light gray small border just to contain it? Keisha, I'm looking for you for my branding. Or Tambra. Anybody?
Tambra, how do you think they'll feel about a border on a screenshot?
I thought we weren't allowed to have borders. I thought that was a pretty clear-cut answer. However, I mean, are they even going to notice if we do one of these 2 grays in a 0.1 around a screenshot?
Yeah, it'll just look like the edge of the screenshot. I guess my bigger thing is how many screenshots we're going to have, and that's an extra step for every screenshot.
Okay.
That was my only thought, but I don't know about
How about let's do this. So on everybody's first one, for those of you who are starting super early, like next week, Whoever's the first in, don't put them on. Just right now, don't put on any borders. We may change our mind when we see it.
Yeah, I agree. This is why you're a pilot, everyone. Thank you.
Teresa, one other thing I want to mention is if
Yeah.
you make a process flow or anything like that and you add boxes, we can't have round edges. So it has to be square, is my understanding.
Mhm.
So don't make them round or, soften them. They just have to be square.
Yes, great addition.
Yes.
I want to add one other thing, just so that Tambra doesn't get questions at the end. Teresa, will you go back up to like slides 1, 2, and 3?
Yes.
Because what we've done is we've used the blue on these slides, and it's the good blue, but it has an a transparency to it.
All of them do. All of the graphics do have a transparency.
Well, all of the graphics have a transparency, but these, it's a transparency laid over it. This template is approved as is, but for the nuts and bolts, we just don't want to rock the boat anymore with any other thing. So anything you add, do not add the transparencies. Only use dark blue, white, or bright red for anything that you add. But everything that's in here is okay as is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you may want to type that somewhere so we remember, or I remember.
I guess maybe Teresa, type on this screen, anytime you add anything, components, only use these 3 colors on this slide.
Do you want me to do it here? Okay. I think I just might have moved. Oh, yeah, I did. Hold on. Okay.
I just wanted to call that out since...
okay, what were the words you wanted me to say?
Anytime you add color to this presentation, you are only allowed to use the colors on this page. No transparencies. Full color.
So essentially, we got that red and then we wanted to lighten it and make it transparent. Not allowed. No way.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing that I wanted to bring up is, let's say Keisha, Teresa, and Tambra, this is kind of for you to just get your input so that we are all on the same page. Let's say the business gives us some type of graph or process map to put in here. We can't just put that in here unless it meets all brand standards. We would have to recreate it, correct?
Yes. Correct.
Okay, so I just want to put that out there because I know sometimes we have gotten to QA before and we've had to recreate things because it didn't meet the standards.
That's a really good call out.
It would be great if we could capture that and like the square edges information that's come up.
Square edges.
No round edges.
We've had some good odds and ends things come up, but it'd be great with 30 people coming on board to just put it in this template.
No, no images from business.
I just made me think of no wire hangers.
Okay.
So, but the images from the business, you have to rebuild them, right? You need to rebuild them.
Yes, you have to rebuild them.
Instead of saying no, let's just say rebuild it, right?
If they're not currently in style. I mean, sometimes we luck out and we don't have to rebuild everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You've seen them where they're sitting in a
Branded.
PowerPoint. That's, branded.
I'm sure they meet standards, I guess.
That doesn't happen often.
No.
All right. Gruvio. Anything else, Keisha? Or any other questions on colors?
I don't have anything else.
All right. I'm going to say one other thing, and I'm going to go to this page that has a image on it. So these images are cropped from a larger image, and as Keisha said, they have, let's see if I can get it to do it. Yeah, they have an overlay on them. One of the things that I noticed in the WBT stuff where we had to kind of resituate some of these a bit is depending on how much you had here. And we had to move some of these up so that we could identify what this picture was without it being completely laid over, like from the roof up. So I want you guys to watch. Don't just lay in and just think that you can cover up whatever. please consider what's going in here and what kind of room you have, and do you need to take the original image and recrop it so that it's a little, this piece right here is a little higher up so you can get in your content. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Well, it's
Yeah.
Amy. Can I just jump in and say something?
Yeah.
I'm guessing we want to keep the boxes exactly where they are, right? Because when you start moving them, they'll start jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Will they stop? Are they, so because when you move them, you're going to jump the hot spots. They're going to have to move the hot spots too. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and so and also Tamara, I don't know if you could jump in here too, because once you start moving a box on a screen, then if the next couple screens kind of flow with it, the boxes would be off unless you start moving all boxes.
Yeah, the text starts jumping. So it's supposed to look like how we have it laid out here, where you go step 1, step 2. It looks like you're all on one page and you're just clicking through like it's a WBT. Sometimes when people start to move stuff around, now all your step boxes are in slightly different places. And for some of us weird people, it gets very distracting.
Okay, so basically then what we're saying is we're going to leave these boxes as where they are. This is how much text room do you have for each of these steps.
If it doesn't fit, choose a different.
Yes, if you need more, there is, where is it? This one that you can use, or if you got a big screen, you use this one. So, or wait a minute, we have this one too. We have several options.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea, and then we don't have to worry about anybody messing with the graphics. Okay, cool.
I had one more question, Teresa. Can you go back to that slide that you were on where we were talking about don't move the box? Yeah, there. So if I have text for step 1, can it only fit next to the step 1, or can it go all the way down to step 4?
You can go all the way down.
Okay,
so
it'll
basically when you
disappear on the
come
click.
here, when you come in here, you have this text open to you before they even start clicking, so you could do some sort of intro, blah, 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 click each button below, and then when you start clicking, it will overlay it. Well, it's not going to, it's just going to go to the next page, but you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
And so once I click that step 1, then on the next page, that step 1 would be grayed out, and they click.
That is right. That is
It's gray showing that you're on status step 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there a question there or a comment? Okay.
It's kind of like a yeehaw.
Yippee-i-o.
Okay, good. That's good. All right, so Tambra, I know we're going to use this whole hour, darn it, but I think it's been really, really good. Tamra, I'd like for you to go over your best practices, things people need to think about as they're putting these together, or things that we want them to check and make sure they're right before they turn it in as finished. And I'm happy to drive to a page if you want me to, and so that I can demonstrate while you're talking.
Okay, thank you. So the most often the issues that I end up seeing are for navigation issues. I did mention this when we were going through the knowledge checks, but quite frequently, so when we were down, the knowledge check was on 16, the knowledge check answer was on 17. So when you're on slide 18, the back button should go to 16. And
so 16.
So when you're on slide 18,
that's 17.
Right.
That's another. We only have 2.
Yes, but typically after a knowledge check, we'll start in on a different section or something. And so there will be a back button. And the back buttons are already pre-programmed to go to the previous slide. So if they were to click the back button on 18, pretend it has a back button, it just needs to skip to 16. So if they are going backwards in the iPPT, they don't ever see that answer again. We don't want them to go to the answer page. It should just go to the question.
So with that said, does this page need a back button to go to 16? If they just got here and said, oh, I want to go back.
That whatever they click on this page will take them to, oh yeah.
Yes.
Well,
You
you
see
know
what
what?
I'm
They'd have
saying?
to go back to table of contents and go to the beginning of the knowledge check again. All right.
Yeah, I didn't think about that on that full-size screen print one because we don't typically put next and back buttons on knowledge check pages, just on the answers
Just on this
or the
one.
ones
Just
after
on
that.
this one. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Wherever
got
they
it.
click on 16 will automatically take them to 17. And now they can either go back to the table of contents if they want to go somewhere else, or they can go back and answer this question again.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
it'll make more sense when you see one fleshed out.
Yeah.
Than it does right at the moment. But the other navigation issue I see most commonly is that sometimes sections get changed, but the table of contents doesn't get changed. So say you finished and you pre-programmed and then your SME said, you know what, we need to add 3 more pages to this section, but the table of contents never gets updated. And so it says it's going to section 3, but it's really going to the middle of section 2.
So what would that tip be? Check your topic, your main topic links once you have everything placed in to make sure they go to the right topic.
Right. Yeah. And I would say, yeah, if you make any updates, or maybe it's just a habit, because we used to just be able to click update table of contents back in the old ILT template, but you can't do that anymore. These are programmed. So,
If adding or taking away.
yes.
So that leads me to a question. The version that the SMEs get to check functionality and all that, is that going to be a PDF?
Typically I PDF right at the end. So
Yeah,
once
it does a
it's going
PDF
through-
until the end.
Yeah.
So how will they check like for functional? I mean, if they're given a PowerPoint with the slides that, with each of the slides kind of in there rather than a functional one?
I don't know that they check the functional. I think their focus in an iPPT, and tell me if I'm wrong, ladies, is they're checking the content. And so we have our functional checkpoints to make sure it's operating right. They might catch it, great for them, but I don't think they even look at it like that.
Well, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean for them to catch it. I was meaning that the version they see is going to be our...
It's like this.
Right. So they're going to see the various pages in there.
Yes,
Is that
they
all
are.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Yikes.
Why? Is there something you don't want them to see?
Well, I just hope it doesn't confuse them.
Well, there will be confusion no matter what we do. And we'll have to address it when we get there. And I think one of the things we've tried to do, particularly, this is a good one to do it too, and we'll have to do it also with the notebooks we're doing, is to provide some explanation to them. Yep. When they start going out for review.
Yeah, and I think the PMs have a nice little thing that they do, at least on the last project I worked on that had iPPTs, where they explain to them, this is what you're seeing, you can review it for content, you can also put it into show mode to click on the hotspot. So I think they have a nice little verbiage that tries to help them understand.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
That's good. All right.
All right. All right, Tamara, back to you.
Speaking of table of contents, a lot of times what ends up happening is headers get changed in the module, but then they don't get changed in the table of contents. These are questions that I end up having to go to the MISDs with. That's what ends up taking time, right? A navigation issue I can fix myself, but if there's a discrepancy in headers, I don't know what the right header is. Did it get updated in the table of contents and not in the body, or vice versa?
When I do these, I always do this last.
The table of contents? That's a very good idea.
Yeah, I think we should make that, part of the template too, is that should be done last.
Okay, I've noted it. Yep, best practice. Got it.
Also, when those headers get changed, a lot of times they'll get changed, but they don't get changed on the continued slides, or a slide will be taken out. And so what I have is XYZ continued, and then my next page is ABC continued. So I'm not sure if there's a slide missing, or so maybe just check the headers at the end and make sure they all still flow correctly. Because again, that's something I have to go to the MISD with, and just takes time.
Well, and I think it's back to that best practice, and I know that we're all going 90 to nothing, but once you're totally done, is to go back through it and review it from this perspective, but then put it into show mode and view it that way too. Just do your final quality checks. If we'll take the time, it won't take that long to do those. I think we can catch a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I think a lot of people, I do think you're right that the SMEs don't check it, because I do think people forget to go through it as if they are the learner.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see a lot of just some things. But those edits and updates being made to one slide but not on matching slides, that's a pretty common thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what the tip would be there, but a lot
Check
of times.
your work.
Yeah, like an edit will be, the SME, and I've seen it. I've seen the SME feedback where they say on slide 17, change this to this. Well, slides 18 and 19 are supposed to be duplicates or matching text. It's just they build on each other. So then it doesn't get changed. So again, I just need to go back and confirm which one's the correct.
Well, tell me what, how much?
70.
Yeah, that's just a really tricky iPPT thing that is unique to IPPTs.
Here, I got another one.
So yeah, great call out.
Because there's a lot of things that build on each other.
Yeah.
So
What else you
another thing I see is hyperlinks that either don't work or they don't match what's opening exactly. And Bank of America has a very odd rule that the hyperlink text should exactly match what's opening. And it doesn't matter if what's opening is incorrect grammar, incorrect punctuation. I mean, it could be misspelled. It doesn't matter. And the editors hate it because they want to go through and they want to make everything M dashes and match the style guide or match the text that's on the screen, one would think.
Or spell it correctly.
So you're just
something, yes. And yet, the rule is the hyperlink has to exactly match what's opening. And as we all know, lines of business, they don't have to follow these rules.
You can blend it.
So a lot of times
but I
what's
got a meeting
opening
in
is
5
something,
minutes. You can't be blending.
especially procedure portal. They have all sorts of different names for their procedures, and they have different varying rules that happen at different varying times. So that happens a lot.
What, honey?
All right, anything else?
Yes, just a couple quick things. Extra hotspots. A lot of these are pre-programmed, so we shouldn't have these issues. But if you do end up building out any slides, just check and make sure you don't have any hotspots that got left on a page. So for example, in the knowledge check, we already have a knowledge check and an answer, so that's great, actually. Probably this one won't matter here, but a lot of times what ends up happening is people use their knowledge check question slide for their answer slide, but they leave in those hotspots. So that could get us in trouble.
And I know we only have a minute, but there's a quick way you can see if there's extra stuff on a slide. Like, Teresa, if you click View in the ribbon at the top, I think it's in View. Oh, it's not. You know what? I'll find it and I'll send it to you. There's a way that you can open up a panel on the side and it shows you every single thing that's on that slide. And if you have an extra clip box,
I have seen that. I do know what you're talking about, but I would have to think about how to get to it.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Ooh, I love it. Find it, and that is Tiny Topic next Tuesday.
Yeah, and then you can just click it and be like, oh, I've got this extra thing on here. Maybe it's an animation.
I think it's an animate. Wait a minute, because it brings up the little side folder.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
animation
it's kind of like
pane.
It's kind of like the animation pane. Yeah, click on animation pane and let's see if
Where
that
do you
tells
see
us.
it?
Yeah, it is
right there.
definitely in there somewhere. Yep.
Because it shows you what's triggering and what order to. If
All
you
the
have an order.
elements.
Yeah. So it's here. But I didn't get one with a hotspot here. Hold on a minute. How about this one?
I'm not sure that one has a hotspot. I think it might just be an example. I think the
Okay.
build
Let me
out's
go
down
down.
in the
Let me go
appendix.
down. Hold on. Well, now I've just really made it mad, so it's like going to take forever to get down there. Here, let me get one that's...
Yeah, if any of us ever acted like PowerPoint, we'd all be fired.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one that's down here. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. It's not doing anything. What am I doing?
You're not in show mode.
I don't think I have to be for the animation page. It's supposed to show me the hotspots. On the
I
page.
know it shows
Oh, yeah,
animation.
right.
I don't know about
Okay, all right. Okay, Emily, check that out and see where we can see those, because I don't know that it's the animation. So that's great.
Yeah, right.
And we have 2 minutes. And the
Yes.
other thing that I want... Oh, go ahead. You had one other thing.
Well, I just, really quick, somebody said earlier, somebody was asking about the footer in the notes section, and we're not we're not using notes and the footer is already there, so this shouldn't be an issue, but I didn't want someone to see that footer and delete it. We still need the footer in the notes section. It's just a Bank of America rule. Every single PowerPoint, regardless of whether or not you have notes, has to have that footer. And then Jennifer asked in chat if it was possible to see a finished iPPT, so I don't know when one will be finished, but I just wanted to ask that for her in case somebody didn't see it.
Jennifer, bless your heart. You're going to probably be the first one out the door. But Amy or Keisha, do you have a finished one that you've done this past year that you could just show her?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
we could put it in the example.
No, I'm laced with hesitation to show old stuff because there will inevitably be something in there that we have told you not to do. But Jennifer, I can certainly send you something.
All right. Well, 1 minute. Okay. So Keisha also did a webinar on creating hotspot PowerPoints, not hotspot, iPPTs, right, Keisha?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. Yeah, it's a webinar, and in it we gave them a bonus of a little micro learning on how to do a hotspot.
We're going to send that out too. So we're going to send you guys out a package with the template link and all these things we've talked about. So it's all together and you guys will get that, and then that will be part of it. Click it, watch it if you feel like it would be beneficial to you. All right. Send us your questions and we will get them answered. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. This
Thank
was
you.
very helpful.
All right.
Thanks.
Great.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.